Hello, this is Crypto CJ. It's the trade of the day, Monday night Zoom edition. We had a pretty good weekend with Bitcoin and Ethereum, but we had a precipitous drop today. Well, maybe that's too big of a word. It's about 3 to 5% on Bitcoin and Ethereum, and the altcoins also dropped around 10% or so. Let's go ahead and go to the Bitcoin chart and check it out. Okay, folks should be seeing my Bitcoin day chart.
No,
No, you're not seeing it?
no. Well, I don't think so. I can't see it.
Okay.
I see it. No, I can see it.
Everyone but Craig
Oh,
can see
okay.
it?
It's me, is it?
It looks like it.
Greg, you gotta look down. You must
Anyway,
be looking through.
Yep, good.
all right, good. So reliant on Craig to confirm that for me and that's just because it's easy on Zoom to think you're sharing and you're not, and then you talk about something that's being shared and then go on for 4 or 5 minutes and nobody knows what you're talking about. So that's why I do that. And Craig, who also hosts Zooms, is aware of that and usually chimes in. So when he doesn't agree with me, I go, what? What's going on?
But for
Okay.
some reason, all the pictures of everyone was there and on top, and I couldn't see the chart.
Okay. All right, we're good now. Bitcoin day chart, and we are towards the top of the range. This is the range we've been trading in since June. And as you can see, we had a nice green candle to close on Sunday around 23.7 and change, but dropped down today, lost about $1,000 of that, and we're around 22.8 at the moment. Doesn't surprise me. I sort of expect this week to pull back a little bit, maybe be a little bit bearish as people collect profits. And here's another reason why. I'm going to bounce over to iCoinPro real quick, and because it's got the fear and greed index. You guys should be seeing that now. That's 55 on the fear and greed index. I wasn't sure if we'd ever see greed again. I'm very, very pleased to see greed. You guys seeing that here on the index?
Yeah.
All right, there
Gosh,
we go. 55, man.
out of the red.
Greed is good, says Gordon Gekko. Anyway, but I digress.
There was a bit of news too, wasn't there? Something about interest rates or the economy. I think is there another Fed meeting coming up
Yeah,
very
got Fed
soon?
meeting come up on Wednesday, I believe. They're anticipating only a 25 basis point increase. The inflation numbers are looking good in the short term, so they may have something to do with why we had that nice move. But then we got profit taking today. We'll see if we get a bounce tomorrow. Okay, and then on Ethereum, yeah, about the same. It can't seem to break through 1700. It's been stuck in the 16s for about 10 days now. So again, we're coming up on some resistance, mostly on Bitcoin. I've got it here at 24.5. 24,000 is also a sort of a psychological barrier, as will be 25. We'll see how it plays out. Looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum is important when evaluating all tokens because Bitcoin tends to influence all of them, with usually a few exceptions. But again, when you're trading crypto, day trades or short-term swings or really almost any time frame, you're really trading two coins. You're trading that altcoin plus Bitcoin. Okay, any questions or comments about the market overall before we go over to Altcoin Alert? Okay, so what can we do now? Can we find a trade? Now let's go to, I've got the altcoin radar up. I don't really care for the dashboard view like this one here. If I go to the altcoin radar, I get all the information. There's 3 or 4 sorts I like to use with Altcoin Alert. First one's the AA score. And I'm looking for values 80 or higher. We don't really have any at the moment. I looked at Ravencoin, I didn't like it. MATIC is at 78.3, it's close. So let's go ahead and look at that. at the moment. This is one of my favorite coins to trade anyway. So got the MATIC chart up here. We go to the 5-minute, see if there's a dip sequence that we can jump into. We did have a nice dip sequence here earlier today. This is for the 1, 2, 3 dip. Most of you should have had this training. 1, 2, not quite a third dip on MATIC. Then started to go up here, hit the SMA line, went through it, and now kind of going sideways. So if you're taking this second dip with the RSI bounce here, you know, would have got, well, you'd be about breaking even at the moment, up a little bit. So not that great on that dip sequence. So let's say we're looking for a retrace on this. We've got looks like some support down here on the 5-minute chart. Mark it with a line right about here. We have multiple touches here at $1.07. So what you could do, you know, we're about $1.08.5 now. So for a better entry, you could right click on, say, $1.07.15, add your alert. And I like to use the information source for the names of my alerts. So I've got AA score purchase here, and you click create. So that's how I would do a price alert entry. Now you don't just jump in just because you see that alert goes off. You reevaluate when that does go off. So that's how I would do a support alert. Now what I would prefer are alerts on indicators on the 15-minute chart. So I'm on the 15-minute chart on MATIC at the moment, and I've got a few of my favorite indicators are all grayed out at the moment. The first one we're going to look at is supertrend. And I've got slightly different settings. The default setting on this has the ATR period at 10. I use 5. And as you can see, at least on the sells, if you're trading, you know, leverage, you know, the sells have gone pretty well, where this buy right here did not. So this buy over here on Saturday, you know, did okay. It went down for a while and then came back up, got about 3%. And remember, Altcoin Alert with the AA score is telling us that this has a 78% chance of going up 3% or more in the next 48 to 72 hours. So that's sort of what I use for my guidance on when to get out. And I also look at support and resistance as well. So on the super trend, if you want to use that as an entry, you can download it here on your indicators. There's a lot trend-based indicators. Either one of these would work, from Everget or Kivonich. And you download that, and then we do that. You right-click on super trend, buy if you want to go long. Again, the source, AA score, and you're good to go. Once per bar close, that's important. That'll keep it on all day until you turn it off. Plus, the alert won't trigger until the candle actually closes, which is usually desirable. Okay, so that's one option. The other one I like is divergence. This will help you find dip trades. And divergence is a disagreement between the price action and the indicators. And there's multiple indicators in this particular. It's like an indicator with a bunch of indicators. So you can download that here, type in divergence. And this is the one I use, divergence for many indicators version 4. And then the other one I like is, the non-repaint one here by Peter O. So it's the two I've downloaded. And getting a little too much noise in the background. Can't seem to remember on how to unmute everybody. Or mute everybody. All right, went away. Ooh, it went away. Okay, so on divergence, some of the bullish ones did okay. .44% on that one. This one just triggered a little while ago. We're up about 0.3 on that one. Not great. Yeah, but recently bullish divergence hasn't done that well. At least not since Saturday morning. So I don't think that's the one I would use. And then the other one I like is the RSI down here, relative strength index. And I find that when it comes down here to the oversold area, which is the 30 value, and breaks back up, that can often be a good place to get in. Though the most obvious example is here, and that didn't work out so well. So I mean, nothing is perfect on here on our entries, but we're just trying to increase the odds. This one did break below the RSI at around noon, Arizona time. And we'd be up, and we'll probably break even at the moment on that one. But if you want to set an alert on the RSI, you can right click on it, add an alert. How I like to do it is crossing up 30, just consider the sold area once per bar close. And again, this is our AA score purchase. Okay, so those are 3 indicator alert options I like to use. Then I showed you the price, the support price option on the 5-minute chart. When you're doing a price alert, it doesn't matter what.
Well, I wonder if that woman's coming or not.
Jeez. Yeah, it doesn't matter what chart you use, time-wise. So I'm a little distracted. Lots going on in the background. All right. And any questions on MATIC before we move on to another one? Okay. We'll break away from Altcoin Alert a little bit because Oliver posted a message in the chat. I didn't see it right away. He suggests that Bitcoin resistance today to be around 23,490. Wants us to discuss. So 23,490. Let's go to a shorter time frame on Bitcoin, say 15 minutes. So that would be right around here. Maybe the hour charts, what he's looking at. Well, I see a kind of a big candle right in the middle of that. So I'd be looking at resistance being here, where there's a couple touches on the hour chart, 23.3. And then again up here around 23.7. So that's what I'm seeing.
You're on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
Huh?
I'll just tell her you're on a Zoom call. And
Oh my.
Well, she's gonna want this receipt.
Yeah. Hey, Linnell, we can hear you.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know I wasn't muted. Sorry about
Yeah. All right. We're kind of getting to know your business. All right. Okay, so sorry guys, I'm a little distracted. Let's get back to Altcoin Alert. And we looked at MATIC on the Altcoin Alert scores. And let's see, the other sort I like to use is this long-term sentiment sort. This is what people are talking about on Twitter. You can hover over here and get a description of it, but the sentiment values, whether it's short-term or long-term on Altcoin Alert, yeah, what people are talking about on Twitter. Then you've got the elder impulse, which is a technical indicator. So when these two line up, that's something I want to look at in more detail. So I'm going to click on here, looking for very bullish or bullish, and try to match that up with the elder impulse. This one that caught my eye, IMX. Got that chart here. I did set an alert on this one today. Hasn't gone off yet though. On the 5-minute chart, just going sideways and into a squeeze. You could probably do an alert in this vicinity here where I'm seeing multiple touches right around 634. That's not very far from where it is now. So I probably wouldn't do that. I'm gonna go over here to my my 15-minute chart. Let's see, what alert do I have on this one? I've got the super trend buy going at the moment. And I set that one probably just after 8 o'clock this morning and it hasn't triggered yet. But as you can see, this buy alert did really well from Sunday. This one did not though, from earlier today. Yeah, it might have been around 9 or so when I set this and I saw that it was going down. And the sell really isn't doing very well either. Went down about 1.7, not bad, but. So I've got a buy alert at the moment on this one. And again, it's really easy to do that. Right click on there, super trend buy. You can leave it on buy, direction change if you want to trade each time it changes, and super trend sell. Once per bar close, and then call it what you want. This would be a long-term sentiment. And then you're good to go. When I'm doing a trend-based indicator, I forgot to mention on the last one, I'm looking for confirmation from other indicators as well. So say on this one, on this buy from Sunday, you've got the RSI trending up pretty well, and this other one called TDFI, or trend direction force indicator, also going my way. So that gives me some confirmation that that it's got it's going in the right direction. You could have 100 indicators on here, and nothing's perfect, but again, you should have at least probably 3, I would say, for trend-based trading. Now this isn't useful for divergence in dip trades because it's obviously going to be trending down, and because on dip trades we're trying to catch it at the bottom coming back up, so the trend-based indicators aren't going to help. All right, so that's the super trend option on divergence. That was a good one. This was a good one. And this was a good one. So yeah, divergence might be a better way to go than I had the super trend on, but I think I'll put this one on too. Positive divergence, once per bar close, long-term sentiment. And this is potentially, it's talking about a repaint, which means sometimes this indicator gathers more data and changes, which is frustrating when you're evaluating it, when you're back testing it, looking at what it did in the past. For that reason, I've got this other indicator for divergence, this non-repaint, so I look at both of them. So for example, on this one here, the the version 4 triggered, which can potentially repaint, but the non-repainting one triggered as well. And we also had another non-repainting divergence trigger, about an hour and a half before that. So, I take all those into consideration before I place a divergence trade. And then finally, on the RSI, it only dipped below the 30 here, this afternoon. And it was up about 1.6%, not bad. But otherwise, it has not dipped below the 30 since Saturday. So it did get pretty close on this situation, got down to 33. So with that in mind, you might want to, if you're going to use the RSI as your alert, go crossing up, and instead of 30, you might want to go 35. Once per bar close, long-term sentiment, and you are good to go. So that's how I would approach IMX. Any questions on that one? Okay, we'll do one more on Altcoin Alert, and then we'll head over to iCoinPro. All right, so we sorted by AA score, by long-term sentiment. Then we can also sort by elder impulse. And then I'm trying to match these up with long-term sentiment. So it's a similar version of what I just did. And we've got actually Ethereum showing up, Dogecoin, Litecoin, and SHIB. First four that match up. Atom, you know, so these are all coins I trade with some frequency. SHIB and Doge not so much. But I trade Ethereum a lot. I Litecoin a little bit and Atom quite a bit. So let's go ahead and look at Atom. I'm gonna go through this one pretty fast because we're running a bit behind. Okay, at the moment, got Atom breaking through the top of the Bollinger Band, making a nice move. Breaking up here, and it was squeezing. Now we're starting to bubble out. We're bubbling out on the top side though, so we're not likely to have a dip sequence here. On the 15th, well, if you do want to set an alert down here where we had some support earlier today, that would be probably a good idea. 1290 could be a potentially good entry there. On our indicators, super trend. This buy did really well back on Saturday. This one from earlier today is not so good. Went down 5%, but coming back. These RSI alerts, this one did really well. So had you taken this one, gotten in here, you know, up almost 2%, pretty good. So that's a super trend, divergence. That bullish divergence did well. This one did not. This one made a small profit. Not quite 1%. Yeah, so probably on, let's see, I got into this one. Goes against me about 6%. I probably would buy in again. With the goal of it having coming back up to where I started on the first trade. So what I call a ladder buy. Since the market overall is trending up, even though we're you know, a little bit down today, I think by tomorrow, you know, it's a pretty good chance this would recover. So in that scenario, my first trade breaks even. My second trade gains about 7%, so it's about 3.5% between the two. But I have twice the amount of money in it, so works out pretty well. I've got videos from 2021 where I talk about ladder buying. Most traders use stop losses. I use kind of a blend of both. I can't really go into, you know, all that in detail on this particular show, but we can talk about it sometime in the near future on how I'm handling that. But you have to decide for yourself whether you want to, you know, ride out situations when the market goes against you, make additional purchases and hold for a while, or set stop losses, you know, cut your losses and you know, protect more of your capital and avoid stuck trades. So, all right. Any questions on Atom before we move over to iCoinPro? Okay. iCoinPro, the home of the 1-2-3 dip. Most of you guys have seen their training on that. It has a couple tools I like to use. One is the RSI Spy, which as you can see, you can sort by the RSI. And it'll tell you what's below 30. So all these The ones in the green are below 30 on the 1 hour chart. So these are usually worth either getting in fairly soon. They could be in the dip sequence now, or they were in one within the hour, or they should retrace and create another desirable situation. This one caught my eye, near protocol. You can click on this drop down menu. It'll take you to the chart, but I've got it up here. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on this. I noticed on the hour chart on near that's been trading this range about the past week or so. Yeah, this is like 14% range, up, down, down. The down not quite all the way, but it did hit today. So if this trend continues, this one should come back for a really nice gain. This as day traders, we love this. This is good stuff here. So with that in mind, I'm gonna take a quick look at my 5-minute chart. Yeah, kind of too late for a dip. We're in a squeeze now. You could set a price alert down here around 225. Try to catch that as an entry. On the 15-minute chart, let's see, I think the super trend was doing really well on this. Yeah, this is awesome. So look at this, buy takes off. 6%, sell. 4%. Buy, 4%. You get the idea. You can just stack up 3 and 4% wins, a couple of those a day if this trend continues. So, yeah, I did do this one, didn't I? Yeah, I've got a super trend has changed direction alert on this one. So that's a right click here, add an alert, super trend direction change, and once per bar close and you're good to go. So, but this is for a little more experienced traders. You shouldn't trade leverage until you have experience with spot trading, like on Coinbase or KuCoin or something like that, Binance US. And, I'd say several months before you go on a leverage exchange and do that and trade, 2x, 5x, 10x, something like that. So, but if you are ready to make that jump, you could trade 1x or 2x on BitGet, which is open to Americans, and make money when the market goes down. So real quick, let's see if divergence looks good on this. Bullish, not really. Bearish, not so much. Yeah, I think the trend-based indicator is way better on this one than the dip. So, all right, we'll look at one more on iCoinPro, and then we'll take some general questions. So that was the RSI SPY. The other one I like is this Buddy Coin Crawler. In iCoinPro, they talk about buddy coins, choosing 3 or 4 coins to follow throughout the day. It's a process I use. I usually choose 2 from Altcoin Alert, or 2 or 3, and then 1 or 2 from iCoinPro, depending on what they're showing me. I'm going to sort by average low to SMA. The low is the 24-hour low. And then the SMA line's that pink line you've seen between the Bollinger Bands. So a lot of these I, really haven't heard of or don't know really what they are. And the volume's pretty low on some of them unless they're new. These are all Binance volumes, and Binance isn't really available for me to trade. So I use Binance charts to trade Bybit and BitGet. Dusk is one we could look at. Where's the other one I was interested in? Aptos. This is a fairly new token, but it's made a big splash, and you see the volume's big, over 300 million. We have a 5% difference. That usually indicates it has room to move if it's 4% or higher. Didix is another one I like. We already looked at IMX. Gala. So these are all I like to trade. Let's look at Aptos. And just to be clear, whether you're interested in, joining Altcoin Alert or iCoinPro, you can use the trading entry processes that I'm discussing, regardless of your information source. So, but I find those two to be helpful for me. Saves a lot of time. Okay, 5-minute chart and going into a squeeze, hanging around the SMA line. Not real clear cut support here due to this dip we had. But this is a really good example of a 1, 2, 3 dip. 1, 2. Actually, it's really, yes, this didn't really break through to create this third dip. This one kind of did, so we'll cheat a little bit. 1, 2, 3, and then you get in right around here. And 4.5% move in 2.5 hours. That's a really good day trade. We don't have that set up at the moment, so let's go to our 15-minute chart, and this spike is probably going to skew some things. Divergence. And this one did really well. But these two did not. How's our super trend doing? That triggered that big drop, triggered this one. That was a good one. This buy looks good, obviously. Yeah, so super trend looks like the way to go on this one. Right click on here. You can do the direction change or the buy. Once per bar close, and that's a buddy coin crawler. And there you go. Okay, any questions on Aptos? All right, well, any questions on iCoinPro or Altcoin Alert? I know James wanted to talk about exchanges, and you guys can jump on with that too. But James wants to know, he emailed me earlier, brought it up again before the recording started. What are the best exchanges to trade on? And I told him in the email that I use Coinbase and KuCoin for spot trading, but to be candid, I don't do much spot trading anymore. And then I use Bybit with a VPN and BitGet for leverage trading, and those are the two I use the most. But for some of you guys doing more spot trading, I know there was a merge between Coinbase and the Coinbase Pro platform. I usually just use that to cash out. I can't recall making any specific spot trades on that. So I'm curious if anybody has used Coinbase Pro for spot trading lately. From your silence, I'm judging nobody has. Okay. How about KuCoin? Anyone still using KuCoin much?
Yeah, I still use it. Actually,
Okay.
I set up a couple bots because of what happened with 3 commas.
Okay.
I'm staying away from that, and just using trying out some of their bots. See how it works. I know Bybit has it. Also has where you can run bits or bots off of that too. But
Okay.
I don't have anything set up there.
That's good to know. I think James is fairly new, so probably trading bots isn't up his alley yet, but I'm sorry we don't have better information for you, James. I think most of us on this call at this point have been trading for a year or longer. We do have a few new people, but those of us who've been trading longer are trading on other platforms. But I can say I did start I did do a lot of spot trading on Coinbase Pro and KuCoin when I was doing that kind of trading. And as far as I know, it's still valid.
Yeah, even on KuCoins, thinking can do up to a 5x, I think.
Yeah,
Or is it
yeah,
just-
you can trade.
Yeah,
You could trade leverage on KuCoin. So you could trade, if you wanted to trade something down, going down or shorting and be conservative, I think you could do a 1x trade on KuCoin. I haven't done it myself, but I would think you'd be able to do that. Okay, any other questions about day trading or?
I do have another question for
Okay.
you. When you set a alarm to go off, do you just set it and forget it? And if it comes back a week later, then do you jump on it, or?
No, if
I
you do
mean-
that, well, there's a couple things you can do. If you don't mind being awakened at 3 a.m, you can leave your alerts on, but I've got it on my calendar before I go to bed to turn them off. Cause I've done that before. I've left them on and tried to trade at 3 a.m. and
No,
was successful
that's-
until I wasn't. Otherwise you should turn them off.
Yeah, that's not really my question. My question is, I mean, you do day trading. Once you set it, even though it's turned off or however you operate it, if it triggers like say 2 or 3 days later, do you still take it? Or a week later, do you take it? Or do you take it when it goes off and then you get out of it? And if it triggers again, do you get back into it?
Well, I was answering your question from a more practical viewpoint, and that I turn my alerts off at night and then I do new alerts the next day. So it's rare for me to have day alerts that go over several days.
Oh,
For
okay.
just me personally. Now, if there's a sweet spot you want to get in at on a price alert, and there's some people I follow who do, longer term swing trading, I might leave that on and then have that go off a couple days after I've set it, which might be more along the lines of what you're talking about. So,
Yeah, that was.
okay. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing that. I don't do it very often because I like to trade it every day and do something new depending on what the market's showing me for that day. But yeah, what you're describing is, like short to medium term swing trading, and that's fine too. So
You can set the alerts to expire as well, can't you? So you can sort of make them valid for 1 day.
Sure, you can do that too. All right, any other questions on day trading and similar trading? Okay, well, I will stop the recording here. If you're watching on the recording, thanks for doing that. Please check out the opportunities in the pinned comment. Hopefully we'll see you live on Friday. If you're in Carbon, please stick around. We'll start that Zoom shortly. Thanks.